Hello, my name is Zoe, and I am going to be talking about informed consent and how it relates to the ACA Code of Ethics informed consent as well as the Montana Code of Ethics. So the informed consent form that I found was from True North Christian Counseling. I thought it would be interesting to dive into this one as it is a Christian counseling group and this is a Christian program. So I will talk about the good things that they did and the not so good things that they did. We'll start with the good things. So they did a really good job in the beginning saying that this is important information that you may or may not be signing and you should understand it and you have the opportunity to discuss and ask questions about it. That is in keeping with the Montana Code of Ethics and the ACA Code of Ethics. They then gave kind of a broad description of the services provided. They talked about how you will be working with a Christian counselor and that the client should discuss with the counselor's values to determine if they want to continue working with the counselor based on their personal values. I thought that was something interesting, something perhaps we can discuss. I'm curious to see what you guys think about that. They did a good job of describing that you may feel uncomfortable or negative emotions and that it would be understood if you don't want to continue counseling, even though some people benefit from counseling. They suggested if you were to terminate with the counselor to give them ample time to provide resources and referrals. This is in keeping with both the ACA and the Montana Code of Ethics, so good for them. They also talked about confidentiality. They included what HIPAA was, how it worked to an extent, and how it applied to their counseling group. They talked about the limitations of confidentiality, especially concerning court-ordered information from counselors, that sort of thing, as well as when insurance companies need information about personal details such as diagnoses for payment purposes. They did a good job with that. They did talk about consultation. So when a counselor will need to consult with another counselor about the client so that the client can receive maximum benefit through the therapeutic relationship, they did suggest or inform the client that they would not be notified if such consultation were to happen, but their identity would be kept confidential. Good for them, in keeping with ACA Code of Ethics and Montana Code of Ethics. They talked about appointments and breaking appointments. Again, with the ACA Code of Ethics, those things are all in line, as well as payments and signing below. They suggested that you reach out to an attorney or legal counsel if you felt the need to. So those were all good and dandy things that they did, True North Christian Counseling. Now for the things that they missed, based on what I understand. When they described the nature of the services, they didn't go into great detail about what the services would entail. This may depend on which counselor you get within the group while you're there. Who knows? They didn't give very much detail. They also didn't go over counselor credentials or licensure. They said they had a broad array of counselors with different credentials and licensure, so you're not really sure. It depends on the counselor, so if this is for the whole group, you're kind of signing on for you don't know what exactly. Something to look out for. Both ACA and Montana Code of Ethics suggest that you get into those a little deeper. They didn't talk about technology too much. They did talk about HIPAA and how that applies, but not documents, how to obtain documents, those sorts of things. They didn't go over that. They didn't go over what happens if your counselor suddenly passes away. ACA suggests that you put that in your informed consent as well. And they didn't talk about mandated clients. So there might be a separate form for mandated clients. I'm not sure. It could be different, who knows, but they didn't talk about that in the one that I found. Now, looking at True North and ACA Code of Ethics, Montana Code of Ethics, I thought that more information should be put into the True North Counseling Code of Ethics. I also read an article from Pierce, Carter, and Barrio 2012. You can see that below. And it talked about how counselors who were graduating or just graduating thought that more information should be put into informed consent than even the ACA suggested. I relate to that as I am a better safe than sorry kind of person. So something to think about. One thing that came to mind when reading this that perhaps we can discuss is that the True North Code of Ethics did not include what to do or how confidentiality might be broken if the client was a harm to themselves and had intent and a means to do so. So something else we can discuss. I hope this was helpful, and I'm excited to hear from you all.